Bond has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Hey, welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Those are the kind of production values that made Bob leave the show. So we come to you live every day at midnight Eastern. That's 9 Pacific for about an hour each night. We do 3 gun-related topics. We do different topics throughout the day, throughout the show, throughout the week. There's Bob. So we do different topics throughout the week. We pick those topics on Mondays. So if you want to help be part of the show, create the show, join us on Mondays and do so. Or anytime throughout the week. Use the email dailygunshow@gmail.com to send us ideas for show topics or suggestions. So we run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. And we also simulcast it on Instagram most of the time too. And we're watching the comments that are coming in live from Gun Channels and Instagram and YouTube, I guess. We appreciate everybody that watches the show now, live, or in the future, especially the people that leave us comments, people that subscribe to our channel, and the people that interact with whatever platform it is that you watch the show. Those interactions let us know that you're out there, and as human beings, that's important. We don't get paid. You don't see sponsors on this show. We aren't really doing it as a hobby, but it's basically been a really costly hobby over the years. But we enjoy doing it. We don't want to be led by the agenda-based media of the day or news of the day. And we do this show to just chat about guns on a little more regular basis so that when things come up that we need the pulpit for, we have it established, which we have coming up here, hopefully. So we appreciate the people that give us feedback on those platforms. All those actions, like I say, help us, let us know you're out there, but they also help our shows to be recommended on more often to other listeners, to more listeners. That helps grow the viewer base, gives us more encouragement, and gets the message out there. So we do appreciate the people that take the time to do that. You don't have to just be an audience. In fact, if you just want to be an audience, there's lots of shows that have more production value and are funner to watch and are interesting. Go watch them. If you want to be part of it, if you want to be part of this new media, then continue to watch the show and let us know you're out there by clicking those likes and subs and all those things that seem like childish stuff, which honestly they are. These platforms are built for kids, but there's people using them and they have massive potential. And we want our audience to exercise that potential. We've got hosts, we got guests tonight too. So we were going to get rid of Bob, but it turns out he showed up anyway. So we got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
You were this close to losing your job tonight, Bob. This close. So then we got Psycho jumping in from Connecticut.
Yeah, that's correct. The happy communist state of Connecticut.
Then we've got Jimmy jumping in from Phoenix.
Hey, good to be here.
Another Fort. We heard that the dog is not doing great, but is not doing worse. So that's good to hear. Hopefully everybody remembers that he's going through some stuff. So good wishes going to his puppy there.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. And then we got Angelina or Alan Anchor joining us from California. Thanks for jumping in.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I'm pretty excited about the topic. So.
Oh, right on. Yeah, we planned to have Owl and Cycle fight it out to see who's the new Bob, but Bob showed up, so I guess you'll have to wait. You can join us as guests anytime. Pretty soon we'll be able to get a new Bob. All right, so it's Friday night, and that means we're going to be talking gun tech and gun biz, and then we always do things like a gun shop of the day or the gun of the day. Before we dig into it all, though, we usually take a break at the beginning of the show to talk about whatever might have happened overnight. And since we're in the new time slot at night like this, we judge all the other shows that happened earlier in the day. I call them the lesser time slots because we're in the good time slot. So now we can judge all the warm-up shows, how they do tonight. They get our audience ready for us. We should let our audience tell us how the early shows went, how our warm-up shows went.
Pre-shows. Ed's still running, ain't he? He ran a late one tonight.
Oh, really? Ed's just still going? Glad to hear. Ed's a good friend. He's a member of the Gun Websites team and definitely made it possible for me to do everything from the cards to the patches to everything else we've been doing out here. So Edge is a valuable player, and I'm glad that he's doing shows on at the same time as ours, because that's the whole goal of Gun Channels, not to have a single show at a time that everyone fights for the time slots, but instead to have anybody who feels like creating feel free to do so. So I'm glad to hear somebody else doing one right now. But we also had Clover doing one a little earlier. And then Yankee and Mac were, of course, not on here because they didn't talk about gun channels at all. But they were out there talking about, I don't know what they were even talking about.
Yeah, they were rehashing a lot of the old, Jaeger and Yankees feud with Eric and Chad and a little bit of the ATF stuff. So
And
the beginning of the chat was pretty good.
no NRA talk. Right? There wasn't much NRA talk, I'm sure, with those two.
No, not really.
And then somebody was earlier than that, weren't they? Clover had a show. Oh, Clover had a secret show earlier in the afternoon. And then
Ellis. No, he wasn't on. Was Ellis on? I don't know.
No, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
oh no, Budget Guns and Gear is his Friday show, and he was saying he's going to get dwarfed because Mac and Yankee were doing a show with their T-shirt guy. So, what are you going to do? They had 800 people watching, 600 people watching. So, when Yankee's up and rolling, he can get up close to 2. And when Mac goes live, he gets 2,200 people watching live. So it's just expanding. Think of it as a balloon or something, you get a bunch of air in there. It just makes it easier for the next people to blow it up. Just don't fall into the path of just because they're doing it one way, everybody's got to do it that way. That seems like the other side of the other edge of that. When somebody's helping you out by making a big audience aware of these live shows, the tendency is for everybody to do the same thing. So everybody keep doing your thing, hopefully, and we'll just see more and more people show up to these shows.
Yeah, Clover had a lawn chair chat today, and it was good because there was a lot of topics. They were just all over the place.
How come he made it secret? He didn't post it on gun channels at all. He barely posted it. He didn't post it on Patreon, so I didn't even know it was happening except Moon or somebody linked to it over on the gun channels chat.
Don't know.
I guess he made it so you have to watch YouTube. It was a YouTuber's chat. So that you had to get your YouTube alert. When you click the Liberty Bell on YouTube, does that come up outside your browser and tell you when something's going on, or does it require that your browser is open, or does it require that you're actually on YouTube for it to alert you?
I get notifications on my phone.
Oh, they phone you. Okay.
So if I get a little text, not even a text thing, I actually get the pop up, and I could actually press that and start the chat right there.
I didn't even think it had that kind of power. So, and that's something that you'd like. You'd rather have it do that so you know when people are live, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I didn't think about that. And I noticed that I was looking at some of my stats earlier, and definitely we got more views on the phone than on the computers. So might be worth it to try to bug people to click your Liberty Bell. Ring my bell. Ring our bell. That way you get the alerts on the phone, and then you know when we're going live. No, you're not triggering me. It's just what's the point of going, hey, gun channels, and then making it so none of us can go over and join you? It just seems frustrating. But I don't care. Do what you're going to do, man. So I guess we can dig into the show. Get into gun tech, unless anybody else had anything else from the shows or anything else that happened overnight. We had a pretty rocking show on Clover's yesterday. But he's going to be triggered if I talk about a show yesterday.
Sorry, I just woke up.
That was a wicked late night yesterday. I didn't get to bed till 3:30.
Oh, you know what happened? I got ordained earlier today and married Thumbs and his wife. Now there's.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
All right. Well, I guess we can get into gun tech. So, do you really need to clean your guns each time you shoot them?
No.
No.
I do clean. I have a 22 that I clean after I shoot it because it's a it's an old Remington. It's like 1937 or so. So I do clean that thing just because I love it. And I don't want it to have any parts are kind of hard to come by, so I try to keep pretty good care of it, but anything else no, I don't clean.
And my answer is it depends. So if I'm using a gun during the season and I know I'm going to be shooting that gun again, within the next week or two, then I shoot them until they start to malfunction, then I clean them. But if I'm going to take something out once and that's it. And I'm just going to put it away in the case, and I clean it before I put it away.
I'm the opposite. See, I clean them, and not only every time I go shooting, but sometimes, because in Arizona, man, it gets pretty dusty sometimes for the guns that I leave out. So sometimes I'll even clean the things that I haven't shot in a while.
Yeah, I find it's important to go ahead and clean things even when you're not shooting them, right? Sometimes, even if you haven't shot them for a long time, because that's when you don't realize you left fingerprint on them, which is eating away into it, or just got a bunch of dust on it that's being, building up.
Nothing annoys me where I don't know. It's just it annoys me when I look look at it and I see like dust in the action, or I see little lint things in it, and it just I don't know. That kind of stuff drives me crazy.
Do you like fully break it down, or do you just like?
Oh no! I usually if I haven't shot it in a while or something like that, I'll usually just take the whatever, if there's something in the chamber, just empty it and run a bore snake or something like that. Dust off the action, stuff like that, because you'll notice if you leave stuff out here laying around, it'll get nasty after a while.
Yeah, here kind of. I mean, I have to like wipe my stuff down before I put it away, because you'll see where you like touched it, like it gets all like I have a Remington where I don't know if it's the finish or California, but that thing doesn't do well.
Yeah, in Connecticut, we don't have that. It's not as humid here, so we don't have that as much of a problem. But like this past weekend, during the daily chat there, the lobby, I was cleaning all my carry guns because I hadn't had them out of the cabinet for a while, and they were a little dusty, so I took them all out of the cabinet and cleaned them up.
I look at rust as the same as wrinkles. It gives you character.
Ugh. All right. Well, so that's a short-sighted way of looking at it. You can do it, I guess. You don't really think of it as being an investment. That I guess we'll talk about later in the show, right? But if you're just talking about it as a tool or whatever, first I'll say Razor on the Instagram side said, well, how many rounds are you putting through it? And I've heard that before, like that qualifier, right? Like, oh, if I do 50 rounds or every time I hit 100 or 1,000 or whatever the benchmark is, then that's when I clean them. And I know people who think of themselves as hardcore who don't ever clean their guns. But my thing, I guess, just to play devil's advocate, and because I kind of fall somewhere in the between, I guess, is if you are just going to rely, you're going to assume that your gun works because you're going to rely on the dependability of the brand or the equipment or whatever, then you're not factoring in just stress and lemons and failures that you can't anticipate. So just by going in and wiping it off, your part of a cleaning is a visual inspection. So you're making sure your parts are good to go. Just assuming your parts are good to go, you know what assuming does. So Murphy's Law is going to jump in, and that's when the problem's going to, become clear. Instead of, wiping it down. What does it really take to wipe something down? I think most people who use any tools, if it be a screwdriver or whatever, people that are pros usually keep their tools in good shape for no other reason than when they need them in an emergency, they're good to go. I'll wipe that next time I go to the range, and then shit hits the fan. Now you're running around with, a gun that you haven't really determined is good to go yet.
Yeah, I actually keep a list. Whenever I shoot a gun and I put it in the cabinet dirty, I actually have a small list hanging on the sidewall, and I write the gun on the sidewall to remind me that gun was put away dirty and I need to clean it. Because I'm OCD.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. But yeah, I'm kind of on that paranoid spectrum too. That one time that one piece of sludgy, slimy carbon fiber gets in the way of the firing pin or something, yeah, I always got to run my guns clean. So I think we solved that one. I feel confident in it.
Well, I'm reading the chats over here, trying to see where people are at. Ever clean before going to the range? At least lube up? That's a good question. If I'm going to competition days, I would.
I put mine away pretty wet. I use Ballistol on mine most of the time, and I run a wet patch through them as well as heavily lubing the outsides. So generally, I don't need to do that.
I think you want too much Ballistol if you can barely even talk. Sounds like it's
I was coughing earlier. I'm sorry.
Your eyes were watering. It sounded like it from so much Ballistol spray.
Yeah, for something that's supposed to be environmentally safe, that stuff reeks.
Is Ballistol the one that's meant for fish, or is that WD-40?
I don't know. Ballistol's gross though.
In the middle.
It dries up and looks weird. It looks like dry boogers when it's dried. It's weird.
It
Yeah,
does smell
WD-40
too.
is silicone.
Oh yeah.
Or you just use WD-40. It just works great.
Yeah, just use brake cleaner. You'll be fine.
Just spit on it.
Well, if it's an AK, that'll work.
Yeah, just any old used motor oil you got hanging around.
No, I've had Dan Wessons before, and if you don't clean them quite often, you got to clean them during shooting sometimes. They get pretty finicky, I guess is the word. Like they get dirty and stop rotating. You have to take them apart and clean them. Well, not take them apart, but take some effort.
My 22s, I used to clean them every time I brought them home, and the guys at the range were laughing at me, and they actually said, why don't you just leave it dirty for a little while and see if your scores improved? And sure enough, they were right. Either that or you got to shoot 5 or 10 rounds out of them to temper the barrel, before you go to work bullseye shooting. So now I run them, and then when I get my first, if I get a stovepipe or that kind of thing, then I take it home and strip it down and clean it. But that almost never happens. I shoot a couple times a week from April to October, and never had very, very rarely have a gun stoppage.
I don't really get to shoot that often enough for it to matter, I don't think.
That's a good point, and I would say that's something else that people think, oh, I don't shoot that much, right? So I'm not going to clean it. But that's the thing. If you only shoot intermittently, then leaving them till the next time I shoot, especially if it's like sporadic, like I'm going to go 3 or 4 weeks in a row to the range. Oh, I'm going to let my guns go. And then something happens and breaks your routine. Then they end up sitting there for 2 months after 3 uses, and just, I guess it doesn't matter too much anymore with the stuff. But if it's like a Mosin or something, it's just chewing your barrel out.
Yeah, I mean, like my it's like my SKS, I always clean that because you can't use the brass ammo I can shoot at the range is corrosive, so I got to shoot that. I got to clean that, and then the 22s I clean because, like I said, I like that one. So, but like the AKs, I mean, I'll put them away dirty and let them sit for a week or two.
Yeah, that's not that long. But I totally agree with G. If you're an intermittent shooter, it's more important to clean them, fairly quickly. And if you're using them, like I said, I was using them every few days, so it really wasn't that big a deal.
There are reiterating on the gun channel side about making sure the bore isn't always necessarily clean, because then, like most of the time, you want to shoot a couple of rounds. I don't know what it does. It kind of sweeten. It kind of seasons the bore, I guess is the way to say it. And
tightens it up.
Yeah. So then you start shooting better. So most of the time there's that border where, every once in a while you want to clean it out, get it down to metal just to keep it clean and smooth, make sure everything's good, inspect it, like I say. But then, most of the time you're going to shoot a couple of rounds before you start recording your score anyway.
We embarrassed Jimmy. He had to go clean his guns.
Yeah. He decided it was time. So I'm going to go ahead and add a topic to a future show of like a gun cleaning routine, because then, like, I like to every once in a while, like you did, go through and just pull them all out and clean them. I think you kind of have to. And again, it's one of these things from living in Arizona. We think, oh, it's dry here, no issue. And then the coolers are going all freaking summer long, getting humidity everywhere. Then we put them in these safes and leave all that humidity in there. And every once in a while you go in there and there's spot rust on stuff. So just ripping everything out of the safe, especially those investment guns that we were going to talk about in a minute, and just give everything an inspection and a clean. So we'll talk about like routines in a future show.
Yeah, Jorge Cortez on the YouTube side said that corrosive ammo is a big deal, and you're absolutely right. A gun will start to rust after just a couple of days if you shoot corrosive ammo through it. And
yeah,
I actually I bring water to the range, and while the gun, right after I fire the last round, while the gun is still hot, I pour water down the barrel, and then I clean it. I give it a good cleaning when I get home.
I just put anything I shoot corrosive through, I'll just put it in the shower for a bit. What?
All right, so I guess now we will head on to the gun biz, and we're going to be talking about gun safes. But before we do, we always take a break between the first and second segment of the show to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a community. We built it 4 years ago now. It's completely run by its membership. We focus it on firearms, but otherwise people do what they want over there. It's a lot of fun, and like I say, it's made up of the members. So with that in mind, we feature one of the members each day. Now, this is somebody who I think we just threw in here, or maybe it was recommended to us. But I don't think he's ever been a member of Gun Channels. But he was a worthwhile channel to follow on YouTube. And that's Zombie Tactics. Does anybody know Zombie Tactics?
Yeah, to me seems all right.
You remember that channel?
Yeah.
So he was a guy in California that I don't know what he did. He did some kind of professional job and computer type thing, I think, or something professional. But so he had the resources to go to the training classes, and he got hooked, I think, started going to a lot of classes, and he had a unique way in his videos to convey the essence of the theory of the instructor. And I thought that was great, because that was one of my frustrations going to so many instructors. What I found interesting was like I'm saying, the essence of their concepts, or the essence of their curriculum. And Zombie Tactics always had a great way of getting that out into a fairly short video. And I think he did some live stuff whenever the live stuff was first getting going. And I just honestly haven't followed anybody on YouTube, so I don't know what he's doing over there now, but I'll look over on the chats and see if anybody remembers Zombie Tactics. And if anybody does have a link to it, link us and we'll zap his link out there. Otherwise, though, I'm not seeing anything. We'll keep moving. So we're going into the gun biz and gun safes. Where do we want to take this one?
I'm kind of indifferent. Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent towards the whole subject. I got a little stack on thing that I threw all the, a couple of little pistols, rifles in there that I don't use or that I wouldn't like grab or something like that, Other than that, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent towards them.
Yeah, I'm more a cabinet guy.
I think I'm required to have a safe here, so.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah, you have to sign like an affidavit when you, at least the gun store I go to, saying you have a safe at home and the make and model.
Oh, really? The make and model?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, they tell us we have to have our guns locked up here, but they don't specify in what. They just, you could have it locked in a closet, anything like that.
That's crazy. So that's California then, correct?
Yeah.
So is there any specific kind? Can you get as cheap as safe as you want, as long as it's just something that locks?
California DOJ approved.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
So like like the cable locks, like when you leave a gun store, I mean, this happens to me at all the gun stores I go to. You have to have a lock with the gun to leave the store with the gun, and the gun needs to be going home into a safe that you are signing a paper that you have.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's a small price.
I think some of the cabinets are considered Cali DOJ compliant, though. I don't think you have to have
you don't have to get like a $2,000 safe. You can get like kind of like those stack-on cabinets. So I think those are like what, $150.
Yeah.
But you like are supposed to have something instead of just like putting a lock on your closet or whatever.
And I thought it was bad that they made us put a trigger lock on our pistol, even though it was in the safe.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have to do that here. I don't really pay attention.
Probably shouldn't say that on air.
I mean, I know you can't, you're not supposed to have a gun like out. Like I think like a nightstand gun isn't really allowed.
That's kind of how it is in Canada, right? Like you can have firearms, they're just not with the intent of home security, so
Right.
they're supposed to be away.
Yeah, you have to go and unlock them, then unlock the ammo from its separate storage, then load the firearm, then you can use it to defend yourself.
It would have to be a tremendous situation for you to actually be able to use a firearm in defense, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, it'd have to be like a home break-in.
Well, yeah, like here, I mean, you can't really like shoot someone in California for breaking in your house. That's just bad for you.
Yeah, here it depends on the local cops almost, right? Like some cops, there's been some places where a guy's been able to use a gun to defend himself. There's other places where a guy has used a gun to defend himself, just firing a warning shot and has been charged. So yeah, it's really weird.
Well, actually, a lot of states are like that. Many carriers don't understand that in quite a few states, I won't say most, but in quite a few states, defense of property is not a valid reason to use lethal force. You have to be in fear of your own life being taken or severely injured, and a lot of concealed carry people just don't understand that.
Well, even then, still in a lot of states too, even in that scenario, they have the duty to retreat. So I mean, yeah. There's a lot of different variants.
Yeah, we're like that in Connecticut. We have to retreat as long as we can do so safely. They did modify it so that you didn't have to retreat, but you have to be able to retreat safety. And there's no defense of property. You can't defend your property. You have to be in fear of your life, or someone in your home is being threatened with their life. Which is kind of good because stealing a TV is not a capital crime.
No, we can have a whole debate on that, but I definitely couldn't disagree more. 180-degree difference on that one. Because it's easy to blow it off as a television, sure, but when you think about the thief breaking into your home, now the burden is on the victim to understand the motive of that intruder. So on the way in, if he's going to claim I was only looking for property, then that's not legit in my mind. And then when you say something like, "Oh, TV," and you certainly have a right, well, what if it's a firearm that he's running away with? What if it's property that's going to harm others?
Yeah, there is a codicil in the law about the type of felony, like an arson. If it's an arson, you can shoot the guy dead right there, no problem. If he's setting somebody else's house on fire, that kind of thing. But I think it has to do with what kind of felony it is.
For sure.
Yeah, that's just part of living in one of those kind of states.
But we kind of drifted from gun safes, so we kind of got into regulations and obligations based on, I guess, state laws mostly.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to have safes per se, but we do have there is a law in Connecticut about, especially if it's loaded, improper storage of a loaded firearm. So we have to, it's a good idea if you have safes around. And I'm a big cabinet kind of person because I live in a dormered cape and there's not a lot of room, and there's no way you're getting a big safe upstairs. It's just not going to happen.
Well, that's true. And some of those laws that require you to have something are definitely putting a burden on people who, maybe you live out in the middle of nowhere. Seriously, you need a safe in addition to having hundreds of miles or at least dozens of miles between you and the neighbor.
Yeah, you also got to look, if you're one of those people that's going to be home all the time, it's not as big a deal as if you're going to be somebody who's going to be gone for 6 months. You kind of want it really secure, safe. So, that your casual B&E artist isn't going to go, oh, I'll just break into that safe and get what's in there.
Well, all that said, I'm a big fan of safes. I think they're neat. Having guns is an excuse to get a cool gun safe.
Oh yeah, I agree with that completely.
People look at you weird if you just get a big gun safe and you don't have at least a couple of guns in there. But I think most people I know at least end up putting other stuff besides their guns in there. And there's that level of security, or being able to leave the house and know that your most valuable stuff is going to be there when you get back. And out here, at least where I'm at, it's more of a issue with flood or fire really than crime. And safes can offer some protection depending on the type of safe and how you put it in against both of those as well.
Do you have safe goals? Like, I totally would never have children if it meant getting like a walk-in safe. It's like a Ford, you know, because I'm sure that's expensive.
I think ideally, yeah, having a secure room that you just have a vault door or something.
Yeah, that'd be like. I mean, I have a 20 gun safe right now, and that's like my goals safe at this point. But yeah, I agree with you. It's just like cool to have a safe,
Yeah, that's true.
especially like a big ass safe. Like, you know, mine's pretty sizely, and it's like, you know, every time I look at it, I'm like, damn, this thing's awesome.
Said like a true gunny.
Yeah, it's just the safe. Like the safe alone does it for me, man.
Well, my advice is buy as big as you possibly can. And for me, it was just when I was still buying. You know, there was a time there when I was buying a lot of guns. For me, it was basically not buying 2 guns, and that was enough to get a decent safe. And then later, same thing. You know, it's time to get more and another one, and just don't buy a gun the next couple of times. I've heard lots of people selling them and stuff, but I think one of the things that hits home the most is the concept that you're going to go buy something that you're going to drag home and put someplace, and then you're going to take your most valuable stuff that you own and put it in there. So, you know, that mind, I think having a big one is a good. Like, you know, a lot of people, I've seen them buy them and they're like, oh, you know, should I get the little one? Saves a couple of bucks. You're going through a lot of trouble to get that thing in there. You're putting some amount of faith in the people that are putting it in there. You know, you're buying these things not from the side of the road, at least most of the time. If you're buying them on Craigslist, I guess it's an unknown, but you know, you buy them from a store or something, probably have bonded people installing it for you, but still it's a process to get this thing in, and with depending on your neighborhood, getting it in, and it doesn't look like, hopefully it looks like a refrigerator they're installing or something, right? But anyway, if you're going to go through all that hassle of having somebody truck all the way through your house and put this gun in your gun room or in your bedroom or something like that, then, you know, I don't know, unless you're the type that likes having that happen more than once in your lifetime, you know, go as big as you possibly can. There's not that big a difference when you get to the size between the smallers and the mediums and the largest. And everybody always thinks, oh, I'm going to build to the size or build to so it fits with some furniture or something. But once you've got it in there, almost everybody fills it and then says they wish they had a bigger one. So that's my 2 piece of advice: is get a big one and get one. Wow, we have 50 viewers.
I'd recommend that. Yeah, if you're gonna get a gun safe, get the biggest one you can get, because you know I would buy the security cabinets, and I'd buy one going, this will be lots big enough, and then 6 months later I'm like, I need a bigger safe, so I'd have to buy another one. Although you have to realize where you live too. Like with me living in a camper most of the time, I actually just have a small gun cabinet in the camper.
Yeah, yours is actually pretty decent. I mean, it's going to stop somebody from just running in there and grabbing them. Plus, they'd have to know exactly where they are, and there's no way they're just going to grab that whole thing. That would be the other concern, right? You got it built in, basically. They ain't getting out of there.
Yeah, I had enough trouble getting it in the closet, let alone, to get it back out would be hell. Plus, it's screwed to the walls. But again, I mean, it would be nice to have a really big one, but where the hell would I put it? And plus, how much would it weigh? My brother got one so big it's still sitting in his living room 3 years later because he can't figure out how to get it in the basement without cutting a bigger hole in the floor.
That have you guys seen that Liberty Fat Boy? It's like a 60 something.
No, it's one of their models.
Yeah, that's the one that if I could like upgrade today, that would be my next one.
That's weird. They're showing a whole bunch of them. So just a big fat wide one, basically.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I want to get like out of California, so that's like a get out of California and buy a house for a reasonable cost and spend a bunch of money on a safe.
I heard
Goal.
that, yeah, it's saying it's a 880 pounds, $2,100. Sizable.
880 pounds, that isn't too bad. I'd have to get a bigger camper, though.
All right, so I was reading some of the comments over there. There's quite a few people saying they'd like to get a secure room. And of course, now I'm reading, talking at the same time.
Well, like my old house, I had my bunker, and that was like concrete walls on all four sides. That I could, because I had a solid fire door on it and stuff, I could have just used that as that whole thing could have been considered a gun cabinet or gun lock. The guns would have been securely locked up while they were in there, but I still had them in cabinets just because I had the cabinets.
You know, that's where that staircase that opens up would come in handy. Get a little walk-in, like
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That would be slick.
Yeah, we talked about that on a previous show, having the stairs kind of open up and be a secret room behind there. So Clover's saying insurance, because even with a safe, after fire, they could be destroyed. And yeah, even if they get stolen and given back to you, you ever seen what a gun looks like after the police give it back to you? They don't give a crap about your property. They give it back all broken half the time and missing pieces. Accessories just get lost. They think accessories are free. They don't count them as part of the gun. I see a lot of people talking about security cabinets, and I think everybody starts with security cabinets, right? I always think a good, well, at least what worked for me and other people I know, is you start with your security cabinet as you're renting, or you just have a few guns or something. And then as you have more or more valuable guns and you expand, you get into the more elaborate whatever cabinet. And then you got that cabinet to put your ammo in. So now you have a locking cabinet to keep a bunch of ammo or accessories and stuff in.
Yeah, that's true. That's what my security cabinets end up getting used for more than anything is ammo.
Yeah, I store all my ammo in security cabinets as well.
We got 50 people watching tonight. I don't know how many people on the Instagram. It's not telling me, so that's pretty cool. It's the most I think we've had in a long time watching the show live. So this is probably a good time to jump over and jump to the comments. On Fridays, we look at viewer comments, and it looks like they're going to be good because we were talking about Turkish guns, and doesn't look like people dug that. So let's see. Steadily saying, and he marked it with putting in a timestamp. Not sure if everybody knows that, but if you type in the number of the time, like the minutes and seconds with a colon in between them, it'll make a timestamp. The Google magic just makes that happen. So just type in the minutes and the seconds, and when it gets posted as a comment, it'll be a timestamp like this, and that just takes you right to that moment in the video so we can reference it.
So here's the thing, though, because I've heard people say that before, and I will admit some ignorance. I don't know exactly what's...
So it's basically Smeggy talking about being ignorant, and he's saying that when it's a state-run arsenal manufacturer, yes. So whatever Smeggy was getting ready to say there, the answer from Steadily was yes. Steadily say never support Turkey. Whilst they're openly racist and loved all things Nazis, far more believe Turkish is an actual race. And then this guy saying you're an idiot. What proof do you have of such rubbish? Rubbish. That means he's from Europe, right? Nobody hears this.
Yeah, he's foreign.
But I don't know. Were you guys on? Well, Cycle definitely wasn't on the chat when we were talking about that. Did you have an opinion on the Turkish, Chinese?
No, I don't. A gun's a gun. It's an inanimate object, and it does not inherit the evil or good of the people that produced it.
Well, what about the idea of funding their terrorism through purchase?
Yeah, since I get mostly milsurps from stuff like that, yeah, I guess it doesn't really come into my wheelhouse.
I felt the same way. I'm only interested in the historic stuff or interesting stuff
Yeah.
that was built by the commies or by some other government a long time ago.
Turkey does make some goddamn good shotguns, though.
That's what Hosh was saying.
I actually have a TriStar Raptor that I bought from them a couple of years ago.
You know, our show is supposed to be a service to people out there that are shooters or people like guns. And if you have never really gone out and shot like a really fancy shotgun and over and under, then try to do so sometime. When I was younger, I would just take my 870 out to the trap and skeet range. We have a fancy trap and skeet range here in Tucson. And for a while there, we were going out every Wednesday to just shoot on the regular. And just doing that for a little while, you know, just like anything, you meet some of the people there. And I had an opportunity to shoot some really expensive guns. And it's really, really neat. I mean, it's just like the difference between a fancy car and a regular car. A regular car will get you to work every day, but a fancy car is an experience, right? Those shotguns are really nice. So when you're talking the Turkish ones, they've got some of those characteristics, but not the prices of the fancy. I don't know where the fancy ones come from. England?
Italy.
Yeah, Italy. The Berettas.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, so we'll get into this next one. Roosted saying, too late for me last night. Here's my 2 cents. Either carries a Glock 31 or 92 FS. And, well, I guess a 31C. What's a 31C? Oh, is that compensated?
Yes. Yeah, it's the, yeah.
And then 92
C.
FS. 1 extra mag, Streamlight, Cricket neck knife, and Smith & Wesson pocket folder. Right on. Let's see. Justin's saying it's kind of tough because we don't know necessarily what they're talking about, right? So I don't know how well it's working. But about the Canik Elite, and as of now, 4 to 5,000 rounds. Oh, he's probably talking about the Turkish thing, huh? Even Tula hand loads. It has the best trigger, so I guess he's a fan of the Canik. Or quality. Anti-terrorism. Supporting a company that's providing a livelihood that might pull fighters off the battlefield sounds good to me. As far as the Turkish taxes supporting bad stuff, you buy Smith & Wessons from a company that's completely anti-2A, or from a government that's anti-2A Massachusetts. So good points, huh?
Well, and you also, you know, most governments are involved with supplying some fighters in the Middle East that have rather loose ties with Taliban's and ISIS and everybody else. So,
yeah, I don't know. Then Steady's saying, no thanks, I'll never support a mentally ill extremist terrorist. Making excuses such as they are disenfranchised or whatever would be disingenuous. But I don't know if that's what he's really saying. I think he's just saying the concept is keep people working, then they're not all upset and fighting with each other all the time, right? Most of the time people are fighting because they got nothing else better to do. Or they look over there and think that guy's got something better. Like Canada. I think we're better than them. Smeggy must not worry about clearing malfunctions.
It's because he only carries 1 magazine.
Yeah, what is CCW? Exactly. Hey, it's kind of like a pop quiz for us. See if we were paying attention during the show.
Huh?
Yeah.
Here's John saying in 2010 SHOT Show, Masad talked about carrying a second firearm. That's correct, actually. I met up with Masad. That was the year I was in Gun Digest. So we were both in Gun Digest, and we were hanging around waiting for the publisher guy to talk to us. And I was like, hey, do you mind if we do a quick video? He's like, sure. Masad Ayub is awesome. If you ever see him, do not hesitate to go over and say, hey, I mean, I don't want people mobbing him or nothing. He's just a regular guy. But he is just a regular guy. So if you ever meet him or he's around or something and you're not being a nuisance, then take the time to shake his hand and say, hey, he's a very cool guy. Let's see. Then Jesmo's saying carries a single pistol that is mag fed, difficult to clear malfunctions. You have to drop the mag to clear the pistol. Easy fix, carry a second mag or a revolver. Yeah, that's kind of my philosophy. Dog Body is saying that dog jumping's a lot of fun. That was that SHOT Show 2006, I think, where they were jumping the dogs.
yeah.
And then I posted a link. I think this is only 2 days ago, but I was in there dropping links to try to get up our SEO scores. Thanks, Clover, for that. And, trying to master these stupid social media platforms. They don't change that often. So once you kind of figure them out, it's not that hard to figure out their little logarithms. And one of them is to do some link backs and stuff. So that's all that was there. And then we were saying thanks to them for giving us that place in Kansas the other day, Harrison Shooter Supply. I guess I already went in and thumbed up a bunch of stuff, so it's going to be tougher. I guess we also have to watch the thing for how many days ago it's been. Jesmo's saying people would be scared of hammer when Hollywood starts using them in the same way as guns.
Isn't there a movie out like that now, where the protagonist? Well, actually, I think he might even be the kind of the good guy, but yeah, his favorite tool is a hammer.
Huh. I mean, there's been horror movies for sure where the psychopaths run around with like scissors or something weird.
Yeah.
What about that one where the bad guy had the thing where he killed cows with, or a little piston thing?
Oh, There Will Be Blood.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the one.
No, There Will Be Blood was the cool one.
No,
about
that was
No Country for Old Men.
Old Men. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the little air pressure thing. That was neat.
a
nobody's
knocker.
cows now, even though there's those things that exist and you can just buy them without a regulation. And now the movie told you how to go around killing people.
That's true.
I'm scared of people getting killed by that thing now. Liberalism is victimhood culture. We can't have people running around being empowered and thinking they can defend their own lives. We need them to believe that their own safety is left to the government. So that must have been why are the antis so afraid of guns? Another one on that subject from John again is hoplophobia? Hoplophobia is a political, man, I don't have to read all this, coined by retired American military officer Jeff Cooper as a pejorative to describe the irrational aversion to weapons. It's also used to describe the fear of firearms or the fear of armed citizens. That word again is a political term and not recognized medical phobia. Oh, okay. John's awesome. He always believes, look at this, he's always leaves all kinds of pertinent information to the videos, and he does this on the gun website stuff too. Can't thank John enough. He is definitely our most active commenter on our efforts out there.
Homophobia is the same as Islamophobia. It's a made-up term, basically.
Yeah, but it describes something efficiently, right? And accurately. So
yeah, but it also gives it that. It makes it sound like when they stick phobia on it, it makes it sound like it's some real disease.
Well,
that's why they use Islamophobia. They say, you're Islamophobic. So that's some weakness or something. Rather than, well, no, I have perfect good reasons to be scared of people going to blow me up.
Then we got a comment, 25 guns are sweet, and a cool scene from Enter the Ninja, which was the opening to the show the other day, which was awesome.
Ninja!
Ninja! Ninja!
Wait for it.
Sweet.
That's what we do to the other gun chats. If they give us any business, we bring a ninja out and zaps them. All right, so that was our comments for the day, and a subtle threat to all the other gun chats out
there. Yeah, Enter the Ninja.
All right, so looking at the comments out there, people are having a good time commenting. And
just a quick aside, even though Cooper coined the term, hoplophobia is recognized as a medical term now, and it's actually in the McGraw-Hill Concise Dictionary of Modern Medicine.
So maybe we should be able to apply that to certain elected representatives and then deem them unfit for office based on their mental instability.
Yeah, because they're mental, yeah.
No, seriously, because they are not able to make a rational decision based on their irrational fear of the thing.
Interesting idea.
Theory. So, where are we off to? Where did I put my schedule at? Over here? That was the viewer comments, and now I guess we'll move into, why don't we do the gun shop of the day? I guess I should have left it on screen capture. Give everybody a break. Give me a break. Jimmy doesn't talk enough. Keep saying that.
Yeah, well,
Huh? There's one of the reasons we do the gun shop the show every day is so that we can feature a gun shop every day. Today it's a gun shop in Texas. next shop we're checking out on the Gun Show Loophole Tour is Alamo Tactical. This is another of the shops in San Antonio that our friend Edge took us to. This one, he said, had moved around a little bit, so it had been in other locations over the years. It's a neat shop, not the biggest one. They do a lot of services like gunsmithing and coatings. They have a laser engraver there, and they do some neat work with personalizing guns and engraving other gear. So it was a cool little shop. We hung out and talked with them for a bit. Part of the tour is chatting with the shops and seeing how they're doing. And this was a pretty cool shop. So this is in San Antonio. I'm assuming people that are watching the video have been there. If you're in the area, let us know in the comments. Stay tuned for more shops on the Gun Show Loophole Tour.
Guys and gals, gunwebsites.com.
So that's Alamo Tactical, a little shop. And I think one of their neatest things is they got this massive laser just sitting there right in the shop.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a good brand too.
Is it?
That looked like the one that the guy had at Tulsa.
What, are you talking about etched ordnance?
Yeah. It looks about the same size.
I don't know. This is a different format, though. This is more like a plotter style. His is more of you set it in there, and then the laser's up on top on some kind of a dyno Wismo Gizmo Bob, because it whips around. This one, it's more like a plotter. So for like flat thing, bigger, like for an AR thing, you could put like 6 ARs in here and do them all at the same time. His laser is more like from one spot focused down like a spotlight, and it wiggles all around. But I don't know. I think that's the differences between them. This one you open from the top though, like a freezer or something.
Yeah, and his open from the front. Yeah.
Oven. Anyhow, but they had it right here in the store, and then they were zapping patches. I never thought about zapping patches before. Do you have a laser?
No, I don't. Actually, I wonder if that would kill you, because I know that it gives off like a fume.
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
guess if you have good like ventilation, it should be fine, because Kydex does that too.
Yeah, Kydex gives off fumes. So.
Laser is on my list though.
Do you have any idea what that one cost there?
At least 10 grand. I think it's about a 13 to 14.
Well, that's not too bad then. I know that.
Yeah, it's
quite a bit more than that.
Yeah, they're pretty good lasers. I mean, that's like the one I was kind of looking at.
Otherwise, they did a lot of customizations. I think Edge was saying, is he out there? He was saying, or he's probably still doing his show right now. Anyway, I think they do a lot of coatings. You know, you get them, either bring them your parts, or they source a bunch of AR parts for you and then build, unique rifles. They assemble specific ones for people. And then, of course, they had quite a bit of CCW stuff.
Were they like a Cerakote shop or different?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they like certified and everything?
I don't know if I think what it was, and I got kind of mixed up with all the different ones. We did a bunch of them in that day, but I think they have an off-site place that they're either is theirs or that they work with that does the actual Cerakoting, and this is like the storefront part of it.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it's there because I don't know if I got a good shot. It's in like a super fancy part of San Antonio, and it's like kind of a subtle shop. It's besides that little sign right there, you just walk into like this front door and it's real subtle.
Oh yeah, they probably don't Cerakote in there.
But I think this was something like this was their offices, and then they'd expanded and then they'd shrunk. So that was one of those things, in the stores, the stores that have been around for a long time, were able to expand during the swell, and then some of them were able to go back down again, descale or whatever that's called, as opposed to going out of business, where some stores that just came up out of nowhere had nowhere to retreat to. Seen a lot of them disappear after the swell. Anyway, that was one of the shops on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. I posted 11 of them today, or the other day. So they'll be coming up, a bunch of Texas ones and a bunch of others, I think Indiana ones. We still have a whole bunch still yet to do. So I try to sneak a day every once in a while. Thanks to the people on Patreon that allow me to do that. And then we schedule them out. So they'll be going out through the end of January, I think. And we'll talk about them on here. But if you want to feature a show or a shop, feel free to email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. And that's, like I say, one of the reasons we do the show every single day, so we can, how many days are in a year with just the weekdays, 200 something. Hopefully we can feature at least 200 shops every single year. When we should mention, when we feature them, we put them over on Gun Shop Guide, which is a website that we've had for a long time. Hopefully it's established and it's got a good rank and everything. And every time we list a shop over there, it's got its phone number and a link to it. So like being on a Yelp or a Google Plus, I mean, we're not that big, but that's just another established link out there. So we're not taking, giant bites out of the internet, but we're definitely consistently nibbling. And if you'd like to help nibble in a specific direction and help out a local shop near you, this isn't something they can buy because we don't sell advertising. We only talk about shops that we truly know about or have been recommended to us. All right, so we'll, what do you guys want to do next? We could go into guns as investments or dig into one of the other daily things. I feel like we should be doing something better because we have so many people watching tonight. Some other show not happen tonight? Everybody watched us?
Yeah, guns as investments. That's
I don't know what to do with my hands.
It's because it's Friday night, I think.
Yeah, it's Friday. Just got paid.
So what'd you say, Bob?
I was going to say guns as an investment. That's not everybody buys guns as an investment. I think very few people do. Most people probably buy them and, they might sell them if they want to trade or something like that. But, if they want to trade up or get a different gun. But most people buy guns and keep them. At least that's what I see.
I completely disagree. As a matter of fact, I'll trade, like whenever I sell a gun, I usually will do that to buy a gun or something like that. You know what? I don't know.
I know a lot of people that not just buy specific guns as investments, but strategically buy guns, that or make decisions, pros and cons. One of the things that'll weigh a decision is what its resale will be worth, what it'll be worth in the long run. I think you're true when you're talking, I don't know if you're talking number of guns or number of years that you're shooting, but when you're new to guns, sure, you're not buying investment guns, but after you've been around for a while and you're in guns and it's one of your things, I think inevitably you start buying them as investments. When you start to get savvy enough to know when something's a great deal. I mean, if you're just savvy enough to know, oh, this guy's selling, who was it that bought, I think it was Pawner, he bought that XD or whatever for $100. And he bought that little 38 one time for almost nothing because the guy thought it was broken. He wasn't looking for those guns, but he knew that $100 was going to be worth more after a little bit of tinkering or just waiting for a minute and turning it around.
Yep, and not even that. There was that time where they had those Colt M4 expenses, and I got in on one of those. They were sub $500, and I bought that specifically because I knew I was going to be able to sell it for more money down the road in two different pieces. But like there's sometimes where I'll buy specific things that I know are going to make more money just because I've seen it there. Like I'm still mad at myself. There's that PPK for $250, and I missed out on it. I didn't have any cash on me at the time. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'll specifically do it for that. And plus, you're talking about guns and investment. Most decent guns anyway they're going to keep their value, I guess.
There's guns that I've bought in specifically to sell, yeah, because we have the roster here, so you can't buy every single gun as just a regular civilian. But we had a single shot exemption a couple years ago, so I bought a couple like SIGs and Glocks and stuff that I didn't really have a whole bunch of interest in, but I knew that as soon as that loophole got closed, their value would go up. So like a Gen 4 Glock is about $1,000 here.
Shit, they're more expensive than they are in Canada.
That's insane.
Well, for a Gen 4 specifically, and you'll sell it within like the last Gen 4 I sold, I put it up on a forum and it was gone in like 20 minutes.
A lot of the older guns because I buy a lot of used guns and milsurps and stuff, and I'm always amazed at how they go up in value and how quickly they go up in value. but I would have a difficult time buying a newer gun and trying to guess whether it was going to be a very popular gun or become iconic or that kind of thing. I think buying used guns is a lot easier and it's cheaper to start with, and I think it's just easier to figure out.
Man, not here. Used guns are not. It's not really any cheaper.
That's interesting. There's definitely opportunities to either be in the right place at the right time, or maybe even foresee. I guess with enough experience, you can start to foresee where you can make money based on these legal situations, right? That state laws create. I mean, there had to be somebody that made some money in '86, seeing what was coming. Somebody who had the facilities to, get some machine guns made and registered in time, knowing that they'd be creating something that would be part of a small and dwindling number. So I want to go back and say, Adam on the YouTube side said Alamo Tactical is a small shop that has AR parts and a few handguns. They push for laser engravings and have some clothing, and it's only about 8 minutes from his house. So thanks for the firsthand info on it. I added it to the comments over there so that other people will know it too if they go look at it on the YouTube. I think that's on the guns as investments, though, is a super topic when people say, why do you need, fill in the blank. I think investment is a valid answer to that, no?
Oh, yeah. I think that's, that's part of the collecting side of the, of the whole gun equation. And yeah, people do, I mean, let's face it, the preppers and all that stuff, they consider guns an investment and something to be used and when the, shit hits the fan and all that stuff.
Well, they're like safe things to put your money into as far as collections are concerned, I think. Because, people collect those, like, pop dolls. Like, little toy figures. So, I mean, those are going to be, like, Beanie Babies where that'll go out in, like, a year or two, whatever, and, you can't pay someone to take them. But a gun, like, I mean, dude, at least here, like, you could always sell a gun probably for more than you got it for. Like, the more laws we get, the better the prices are. I mean, I don't know what it's like out of state because, I only buy guns in California, but I've heard you could, like, get a Glock for, like, $400.
Yeah, I've never made money on a gun, so yeah.
I won't say I don't sell them. I bought a collection once, and I sold some of the guns in the collection that I didn't think I was going to want, and ended up making enough money to pay for the whole collection that I paid for. But, now looking back on it, I wish I had some of those guns back again because I didn't know what I had. This was really early in my collecting, and I didn't realize I got rid of an inland M1 carbine and some other stuff and a nice hexagonal barrel gallery gun but I was a shooter then. All I cared about was shooting, and if I wasn't going to shoot them, I wasn't going to buy them. So, but yeah, so yeah, I made some money that way. Like I said, I bought the friend of mine had died, and I went to his widow and said, hey, if you just want to get rid of all the guns, and she gave me an inventory, and I gave her a price, and she agreed, and that's how we did that.
Yeah, I think that's something that's often overlooked when people say, oh, why, how can you be interested in these things? They're only for killing, because they got only that one perspective on it. But why wouldn't you be able to buy a mess of things as a collection and then sell a couple off? Like people would do that with anything, with baseball cards or with, shoes that are collectible. You buy everything somebody's got because you get it at a deal. You sell a couple of the things off that you didn't want, like you just said. And that's valid for pretty much every other piece of property.
Definitely.
I guess you can't do it with a corporation. You get in trouble if you buy a giant corporation and rip it apart. Then you're...
No, everybody does that.
Yep.
That was the whole theme of Pretty Woman, right?
Yeah, well, isn't that what that guy ran for president and didn't make it?
Bro.
Hillary?
No. No, he was oh man.
Perot.
No, it was Mormon. The Mormon guy who ran for president didn't make it. Wasn't that
Oh,
what
Romney?
Oh, Romney.
he went and took over corporations and then broke them up, sold them off?
All right. Well, I guess guns and investments. Do we have any other stuff coming in? We'd like to say we have a massive audience tonight. Looks like a lot of people said that they, it's just the holiday week, I guess. So I'm glad you're discovered the show. Hopefully stick around. Please let other people know about it. We've done it now for 475 episodes. So Bob and I have been doing this now for however many years that comes out to. And Jimmy's been doing it now for like a year or something. I don't know, for a long time.
Yes.
Doing his own shows. So yeah, we do this because it's fun, but we also want to get the words out there. We're going to talk a little bit later about the one of the main reasons we do this show, besides getting the word out about gun shops. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Notice it's really chilly out here today.
Oh, my feet are freezing.
I have to say, just wear a windbreak.
Snap. It's happening. Everybody knows that sound. Time to whip out your keyboards, crack your knuckles, and get ready for the daily tactical pop quiz. Today is a, well, I guess not a history question. That's kind of dumb. But from one of the earlier shows, on the Early Watch, it is the Early Watch chat on YouTube. What number show was today on the Early Watch? What number show was the Early Watch today?
42 is not the answer, Pants.
Neither is Browning.
Neither is John Moses Browning.
There is no Instagram right now. It already ended. 2:13 is not correct.
Oh. Patriot got it. Patriot on gun, Daily Gun Show.
200. Congratulations, Patriot.
Wow.
Very cool. You guys have been doing that show on the regular for 200 episodes. Well, that's probably just since you started counting them.
Yeah. When they were just chats. But yeah.
So,
Congrats, Patriot.
That makes you the daily tactical quiz hot shot of the day. I drove G out.
Yeah, you just made G-Wes leave the show. That's how ridiculous this is getting now.
Broke my internet. Net neutrality shut me off. They're trying to put the show off because of that. Literally lost viewers.
Yeah.
Never happens. I want to apologize.
I'm telling you, I'm not wrecking my voice anymore. I don't care how those guys did it. I'm just not doing it. I'm going to do it my way unless somebody records one and sends it in for us.
This is what you get when there's a Love Boat marathon on in Canada.
Oh, geez.
I recognize that tune.
All right. Well, what do we have left? We got gun of the day, I guess.
Yeah,
Seeing this, sorry.
I did not pick this one. I don't know who did. It's the 475 Weldy Magnum.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see. It's episode 475.
Yeah.
475 Wildy is a caliber.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I don't know.
Well, let's just do it this way then.
Yeah, what's it look like? I don't know. It seems like one of those fancy guns. Not designed by John Moses Browning, so how good can it be?
Taking a look at another interesting one. Don't get to see these too often. A Wildly. This one is a 475 Wildly Magnum. So it's a 300 grain, right? Just under a 500. It's a really big bullet. Semi-auto, obviously. pretty much as big as an auto mag. We have to double check, but we're pretty sure this came out of one of the Charles Bronson movies. European style mag release back here. Pretty big wide mag, single stack for those large rounds. Interesting action here. Big rib for tracking a target. Definitely large in the hand.
It makes your hands look tiny.
So it's a pretty nice.
It's a big
wood
gun.
Grips. Got a decocker. And there's adjustable gas. So I'm guessing the adjustable gas here.
Definitely looks like a gun that would be in a movie, eh?
Definitely wide. I have a fairly large hand, and it's filling my hand. Of course, it's shooting a pretty large caliber as well.
I guess that's a chop down hunting round.
Yeah, Rooster thinks it was used in Death Wish 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Death Wish 3, when he goes back to the
Right.
alley or whatever, and he orders it at the beginning. Then he says, Wildy's here. And then I got a review of 1911. Oh no, it's the same gun. Anyway, so yeah, that's the episode because it's episode 475.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's what I was looking for in the description there. I think I wrote down what the hunting round was supposed to be.
Yeah, it would be an interesting gun to shoot, but I mean, it's kind of an orphan at this point, right?
Oh yeah, definitely a dead end on the gun evolution tree, I would say. Too big. Too big.
Yeah, it's basic. Looks like one of the Desert Eagles or something like that. Just an obscenely large handgun. 500.
Looks pretty cool though.
Yeah, it does look cool though.
Bruce did saying he saw one at a local gun show with like $4,000.
Doesn't seem
Yeah, I
like
was gonna
that.
say if you could find one, they're probably super expensive.
I mean, it'd be cool, but that would be an investment gun, I guess.
How much are the rounds?
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know. Does anybody out there know?
Would have to be somebody have to reload for them because I don't think you could buy them anymore, could you?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I had a box of them sitting there with them. I mean, it's kind of specialty loads, but somebody will make them. Like I say, I guess I must have put it in the comments of that other video, but I know that in the last few weeks I've been messing with the videos and I went and did a research on it to put keywords in there. And it said whatever hunting round it is, or whatever rifle round it is that's chopped down to make that round.
Somebody out here says it's a 284 Winchester cut down.
They got a couple on Gunbroker.
How much are they running?
It's $100, but I can't. It looks like it's for 14 rounds.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing. I'm trying to see.
Velocity at 100 yards is equivalent to the muzzle velocity of the 44 Magnum.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's a 20 round box for $100. So not cheap.
Yeah, but it'd be a good pistol hunting around. That'd drop a pig.
And his brother.
That'd probably go right through the first one.
All right. Well, one of the other things we like to do on the show is talk about gun history. There's no gun history today that I know of, except for Wounded Chief. But looking at the history thing on the internet here, it says that today in 1922, Soviet Russia has renamed the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR. So today's when they officially became commies. 1922, right after Christmas, right? Then in 1932, just when you thought communism was so great, Soviet Union bars food handouts for housewives under 36 years of age. They must now work to eat. So it took them 10 years before they started making everybody start working.
Wow.
Just
When are they going to do that in America?
And I guess today in 2006 is when they hung Hussein today. In 2006.
Oh, well, 11 years ago? Yeah.
All right. So I don't know what else we got left. Oh, the gun movie. So every day we try to talk about a movie that has something to do with guns. And today it is Tears of the Sun.
Is that the one with Bruce Willis and he takes a team into Nigeria or something like that, right? Like their government fell or something?
Something like that. It's Bruce Willis.
He was just supposed to get the doctor out, but she wouldn't go with
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good
Remember
movie.
he had to save somebody. That's all I remember, yeah. But it was pretty decent. Yeah, it was entertaining. I'd give it a thumbs up, a thumb up, A1 thumb.
Yeah, I'm only going to give it one thumb. Yeah. It wasn't great, but it was good watch.
I think one of the things I remember most about this movie is that I think it was in one of the movie posters. He has a nameplate on backwards. And it's annoying when you look at something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't like it. I don't know. I have to go watch it again. That's part of the reason we do this is to remind you movies you haven't seen in a while. I don't think I watched this. I mean, I watched it whenever it came out, and I haven't watched it since. So I was looking for that Aimpoint picture. Did you guys say you do like this movie or you don't like this movie?
It was entertaining. I give it. If I would say if you came across it, it's worth checking out. It's nothing, nothing great.
Go search it out and pay money for it.
Yeah, no, definitely wouldn't pay for it.
All right, it's from 2003, and I don't know. Was it? I don't know. I think it was just supposed to be an action movie, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Bruce Willis and a team of people were going into fallen Nigeria to save a doctor.
I've never seen it, but that's not surprising.
Did you watch it? Or you don't like Bruce Willis?
I don't watch a lot of action movies. I actually don't really watch a lot of movies in general.
Well, you're a girl, so you just watch drama movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, just the ones where people cry or get married.
Okay. No, I don't think that even happens in this movie. That's all right. You got to pass.
Oh, but there was kind of a love interest, wasn't there?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen it in a long, long time either.
If it's Ryan Gosling, I'd probably watch it.
Oh, that's it then. Monday we'll do The Notebook.
A thrilling tale.
At least he's Canadian.
Let's see. They get the. I don't know what he's talking about. They're talking about bayonets, I think, out there, but I can't figure out if they're joking or what they're talking about out there. But I think we're wrapping it up. So that's, I think, everything. We talked about guns as investments. We talked about safes, and then we talked about cleaning guns, as well as all the other stuff we talk about on a daily basis. Monday we'll be back at the same time, midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, for episode 476, where we're going to schedule the show out for the week. We'll talk about some of the behind the scenes, how to use these social media platforms, how to be an interactive audience and not just a passive audience that gets fed. And then we'll take a look at the upcoming events. So if you'd like to post something over on Gun Channels on the calendar, please do. Cycle Camp is a big user of the calendar, and hopefully that's helping out the Connecticut Citizens Defense League when you do that. So everybody's welcome to do that and help out organizations out there, let people know about events, and we'll talk about it on Monday. Between now and then, all kinds of stuff is going to happen. Tomorrow I'll be doing a tool chat with whoever wants to join in. We talk about tools for an hour or so. Sometimes it goes even longer than that, just to get chatting about something besides guns all the time. Along those lines, we'll have a van chat on Sunday, I guess. And it'll probably be the last chat of the year. A bunch of other lazy people won't even do chats on Sunday, and we'll be here with a live chat talking about vans. So if you're bored of all the end of the year stuff or whatever, you just want to talk about vans and road trips and that kind of thing, we'll be doing that. Travis does Caliber Corner on Saturdays. I think he does that before I do the tool chat. Rick does Rick's Life as I See It on Saturdays. That's after the tool chat. And then Smeggy and Moon do their show on Saturday nights. Don't want to miss that. I think Yankee and Matt sometimes do shows on Sundays. I know that Yoder, Texas will usually drop a link to Come and Talk It, which is a syndicated radio show out of Texas. Pretty cool show. He's been posting that link on Gun Channels for a long time. I know that a couple of people keep asking me to repost the stuff on Liberty Watch and America Armed and Free on Sundays. And to tell you the truth, I just don't have the time. That's when my parents want to hang out. So that's what I do. And, Charles never really gave one lick one way or the other about doing it. I don't think he would care if anyone else out there wanted to do it. I basically turned on the computer, listened to the show on the radio via the internet, and then I would run a live show. As you know, I can't run live shows till January 28th on gun websites anyway, and I don't feel like putting it on the Gear websites channel. So again, anyone's welcome. I don't really think Charles will care if you want to rebroadcast his show and then post it over on Gun Channels. It is a good show, and if Charles, like I say, I can almost 100% guarantee Charles will be okay with that. Otherwise, if I'm missing any of the shows, I know that you'll have early watch on Monday as well.
Yeah, between 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I think Travis, our Midnight Range, I think he's coming on Sunday evening, late night. I think it's like going to be 10.
Oh, end of the week, yeah, the closer.
You know why? Yeah. Because he never posted on Gun Channel. So if he's having trouble with that because he's doing it from his phone, then somebody out there who's a mod get with that, so that not only post it on his channel, but then start posting stuff on the main page. We got more and more people. We had 50 people watching in the middle of the night tonight. There's more and more people using the Gun Channels, and you can't just expect them to know where your live stuff is or when it is. Thanks for the tip, though, from you guys about the little Liberty Bell thing on YouTube. That'll make my phone tell me when people are live. That'll be pretty cool, I guess. I'll check that out. Anybody want to plug anything? So we got some guests here. No? Yes?
Nope.
Now that you messed with your YouTube channel already.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'm sold on my thumbnails yet, but I'm going to play with it this weekend.
Right on. I'm going to start doing a thing called Minuteman University. I'd like to do like a more regular or on the regular show for people who are just creating and want to do the nerd stuff about, thumbnail theory, for example, or talk to people who have been doing thumbnail theory for a while and all the other little minutia of running projects online, both so that we can collaborate and learn from each other, but also so that we can do it in a public venue so that others can learn from us, and the Second Amendment messages can be taken on by anybody who wants to do it on amateur or semi-professional level. And I know Clover is interested in doing that, and Ghost. We need to find a time to do that when a bunch of people can get together. But I agree with you. The orange thumbnails look cool, and then I started doing it with not the same look or whatever, but with blue and yellow on this channel. And I noticed the other day when the thing ends and it displays all of your past videos, with it just being all blue and yellow, it was just a weird pattern of blue and yellow. It almost looked like one of those weird visual what are they called, those puzzle things that you'd have to cross your eyes to see. It looked really frustrating. You couldn't really tell one from the other. So I'm thinking some sort of
I'm thinking about color coding.
Exactly.
Yeah, just because it's, I mean, I like orange is my favorite color, so I like the orange. But it's kind of it just looks
It all just kind of melts together when they're all the same.
Yeah, so the whole, the point of them popping out, I feel like you don't get that, because it's oh, they all just look the same now. But yeah, YouTube is a work in progress. That's what my mission this weekend is. So.
Did you get any more subs from the other day?
Yeah, actually, I think I have like 50 now.
So yeah.
So they were asking what the topics are for tomorrow. It'll be the perfect laptop bag and trauma kits. I'm trying to do things that have to do with getting ready for SHOT Show. So every year you got to drag a bag around to various things, and we'll be talking about what to put in it to keep a computer supported, and then trauma kits.
Good point.
Anyway, I think, what are we doing that? We're doing it at 11 o'clock my time. So you guys have to figure out what time that is for you. Right now, it is 11 o'clock my time. So we're going to be doing it about 12 hours from right now. Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Real quick, we're going to be doing this new thing on Monday. We're going to have our first podcast. It's outdoor chat. So, matter of fact, let me go out here. I'm on the YouTube channel right now, so I'm going to go comment over on the YouTube side and go sub to that channel. Check out the chat. It'll be something interesting. Not necessarily gun related, just outdoor stuff, and pretty cool to check out. So if you kind of like this or you like this, I'm sure you'll like that.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting show.
Yeah.
So I guess on that we can wrap it up with our quote. Just wait for the interruption. Yeah, there. I knew they were coming. Our quote today is going to be by Winston Churchill, one of my favorite people. But before that, I just want to remind everybody, please like, share, subscribe. If you can, support us on Patreon. The link will be in the show description. So with that, Winston Churchill. A state of society where men may not speak their minds cannot long endure. That's something I wish somebody would remind our potato head prime minister up here. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow or Monday.
Night, guys.
See you guys later.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.